So for MET 1131 in Unit 1, one of the assignments you're going to have is the business email assignment. And here you've got all the criteria for the assignment laid out. And at the very end of this, you have an example email. So this is what you're going to want to follow as far as the format. And you can send this email directly through eLearn. So go into the email icon in your course shell, select email. This is your compose new message dialog box here. And you've got the address book here. So in your address book, there are 3 different ways you can address recipients. You can send something to someone, you can CC someone, you can BCC someone. So to, that is the direct recipient of your message. So that is the person or the group of people that you've composed this email for. So for you, you're going to want to select 2. And now if you just hit add recipients, you'll notice nobody's added to the email. So go back in that address book, select me here. And then you're going to need to say to CC or BCC before you hit add recipients. CC is a carbon copy or a courtesy copy. That means someone who isn't necessarily the intended recipient of the message, but you want that person to see the message went out. So when I was working as a consultant, if I had a meeting with my manager and they asked me to perform a specific assignment or contact a client, I would address an email to a client after my work was done, and then I would CC my boss so that they could see the message was completed. If you do a CC and you hit reply all to a message, it's going to include everyone that was CC'd. It's also visible to everyone on the email chain if you CC someone. You've also got this BCC, a blind courtesy copy. Put Mr. Wendell in there. Blind courtesy copy, if you hit reply all, that person will not be included. And the other people on the email chain also can't see that person's included. So you have to select the name and then choose to CC or BCC, and then you're ready to add recipients, and now you can see it shows up in your email. Then you're going to want to put a subject in. So for an email for a subject, you want about 3 to 5 words, 2 to 5 words. It's a rule of thumb. That's just going to sum up what the idea of the email, the purpose of this email. So for this email, maybe you put something like MET 1131 introductory email. Make sure you spell check that. Then you're ready to get into the body of the email. In the body, you're going to want to have a greeting. So a good formal greeting for me, would be Dear Mr. Goodrich, Dear Professor Goodrich. And you want to make sure you have a comma at the end of that. If you don't know who you're going to address an email to, you may want to do to whom it may concern. But in this case, you're going to send it to me. Then you're going to want to include all the information in the body of the email. What I'd like to see is, for the body of the email, is that you're able to write everything out in complete sentences. And I'll just copy and paste some of the instructions in here. So I don't like to have anything indented in emails, but I do like to see in the body that you've written paragraphs of 3 to 4 lines or so, and that in between the paragraphs you have a space. And then you're going to want a closing, good closing, sincerely, regards, best regards. Then a space on an empty line, then your name, and then maybe after this you include your contact information, phone number, email, maybe the company you work for. But this is the basic layout I'm looking for in that introductory email. So you're going to send it to me. You're going to CC yourself. Short subject. You shouldn't use this same subject, but short subject that introduces the idea of the email. And then formal greeting here. Few paragraphs, 3 to 5 sentences long. They should be separated with spaces in between. And I'll give you some leeway here on how you're going to lay out that format, but I do want it to be organized and not just one long paragraph. Formal closing, punctuated like this. I think you actually do best regards lowercase. And then your name, and like I said, if you want to put some contact information in there. And when you're ready, you're going to send that directly to me. And then you're also going to submit it to the Dropbox. So you're going to submit a copy to this Dropbox as well. Here are the instructions. And if you scroll down, here's an example of a well-written email that a student provided me where you've got a formal greeting here. You can see the layout of the paragraphs, formal closing, and then they put name and some contact information down here. So take some time, make sure you understand what you're doing here. I really stress this assignment. I had a student once, took years to get through a program here at Sinclair, found this student a job, worked a short time at this job part-time, and was asked to come on full-time. The employer asked the student to formally apply. The student sent a very poorly worded email along with a not very well written resume to the employer. And even though the preliminary period at that job went very well, the employer didn't even consider that student afterwards. I didn't find out what happened until years later when I bumped into somebody at a conference and asked, and the employer just said, if that student was going to communicate with me like that, there's no way I could have that student communicate with my clients, and didn't even consider after that student for employment. So make sure you're able to send out a professional email, because you're probably going to have to do that when you're applying for jobs after you graduate. Take care, put some time into this assignment. Let me know if you have any questions.